All right, guys, hey, welcome back to Joe's RC Corner, and today we're going to be back on the Cricket, so stay tuned, and I'll show you what we're going to get done today. All right, guys, so like I said, we're going to be back on the Cricket today. We're working on some internals inside the fuselage. I already finished a lot of stuff on the pilot side wing. We need to finish up a few more things on the right side, and then we need to go ahead and start closing up the center section here, and that way the wings will be ready to start being removed in preparation for paint, which is going to be a great step in the completion of the aircraft. Now, there is a few more things I need to do back here on the tail of the airplane. One thing in particular is this. Oh, today it's not going to do it. There it is. So I think what's happening is my my pin here might be a little bit out of alignment, and my this part of the hinge here is actually tapping into this. So I'm gonna have to take the elevator off and maybe do a little bit of filing in between the nubs here to try to let that not do that, because I think it's getting caught right there, and I'm not sure how well that's going to see in the camera, but there's a little piece right in there from the skin underneath here that is hitting the hinge right there. So we'll take care of that. Minor, not a big deal. Should be an easy fix. Now, another thing I was working on is I was trying to set up my just do a test connection to make sure everything is working here on my trim for my elevator. And my thought was to try to wire in a hat switch that would be compatible, so I wouldn't have to have this on here. But I'm not able to get that to work, and I don't know why. I'm running it in parallel. It should just be a switch, but apparently there's a little bit more involved in this actuator than meets the eye. I really don't want to use one of these, but I'm going to have to look to see if there's maybe a different hat switch that I can find that is compatible with Ray Allen. So I'm going to go on their website and I'm going to take a look, see if I can't find a hat switch, so I can then replace this piece and use a hat switch like this for my trim on my stick. But for the time being, guys, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and use my old yoke stick, and I got my push to talk working on this side as well. And then I'm going to decide whether or not I'm going to go ahead and put my flap or my elevator trim right here or not. And I think I am, but we'll take a look, because I really wanted to use this stick here with my push to talk here and my trim on this, but doesn't seem to be working the way I want it to work. So we'll take a look, but for right now it's hooked up, it's ready to go. So if I can't find that, then at least I do have this all ready to go. But anyways, so that wiring is done. I think the next steps that I'm going to work on today is I'm going to go back over to this wing here, and I'm going to start working on the wiring and getting it transferred over through. And then once the wings are off, it's going to be a lot easier to start routing some of that wire along the posts here, because I'm going to put a couple of just maybe one here, and one down a little here, further down, to run my wires down in a loom tube into behind the panel. Same thing on this side. We'll do the similar situation. We'll use some Adele clamps and hold everything nice and tight along the edge in a loom tube. So one single loom tube holding all my wires in there on the inboard side. So that's kind of the plan for that. That'll keep everything nice and tidy. And I did think about putting them back here along this back side and then having to route them up through the front, but I'm not sure I really like that. Only because then I have to try to fish things underneath my seat, and it's getting a little crowded from that direction. I think down there would keep it nice and easy, easy access, have it go right through the panel on the ends there and then into the back, and that'll connect everything inside there. I do have to find out where I'm going to put my outside air temperature gauge, which is right here, and trying still thinking about that because I want to keep it out of the airflow of the aircraft of the prop, of course. But I think somewhere in this panel here might be a good idea. I can have it just kind of poke out just a little bit, maybe towards the outside edge here in that corner piece, and that'll get me my outside air temperature. Attach it to the rib maybe. I don't know. We'll figure that out. That'll give me outside air, and that'll help out a great deal as well. Now, I did do some testing on my radio system here, and I did find that it's something kind of interesting. And I'm wondering if anybody else has ran into this with their Viking engine as well. But my alternator is actually creating noise into my radio, mostly just in the headset, and it does go up and down with the throttle. Now, I do know that they make these filters for the alternator. Want to know if anyone else has tried it. I do have another an off-brand right now. I'm not going to use this in the airplane for permanent, but I'm going to use it for testing here. This is just one I found on Amazon, and it's just basically a filter and 2 capacitors here, and we'll see if that works in regards to pulling down any of that noise, but I do need to get some more heavier duty wire to do that test, just to see if that's the culprit there. I don't have any grounding issues because when the engine's not running, everything seems to be just fine. So we're going to test it out. I'm going to see if that does anything for me. If that works, great. If it doesn't, then I have to do some more research. So anyways, so that's where we are right now, guys. We're going to go ahead and get back to work. That's pretty much buttoned up for now. I'm going to go ahead and transition over to the wing, and I'll show you what we're going to get done up there. Okay, guys, so on the passenger side wing, right now all my wiring just comes out right down here. And I was going to transition the wiring into that area. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to run it into this bay here. That way I can easily access it through the access panel here, and it's going to go through one of these holes and then down along the inside over here and down the line over there. I do have to finish up my wire in here for the fuel sender. We'll get that added to the plug over here, and that should look pretty good. So we'll get that all started. Fuel, I do have to test out this fuel tank, put some fuel in it, make sure it doesn't leak anywhere in any of these lines. I doubt it will, but it's worth testing to make sure. And then run the engine from that tank as well and see how that all works out. So that's the plan, guys. We're going to work on that now and get you guys up when we get that done. Okay, guys, so I'm going to be calling it a day. It started raining out here, and as you guys well are aware from previous videos and comments, hanger still leaks. So we're going to go ahead and close up. We're going to cover up the middle of the airplane. I know, right? Desert, rain. Go figure. But we're going to go ahead and close up for the day. We're going to finish up a little bit more tomorrow. Did get a good chunk done here. All of the lights now I've tested. I've rerouted my wiring in that top to get into the center section here, right up in here, going into the fuselage. So now all I have to do is wire up everything in the fuselage and then just plug in, good to go. Not going to do that today though, because like I said, raining, but that's a good start for today. We got everything covered up, protected from the rain, from any leaks inside. I am having trouble with the my hat switch that I got for my trim. I can't get this to work properly with the Ray Allen stuff at all, so I'm going to have to do some research. But because of that, I went ahead and wired up my push-to-talk on the pilot side with my original hand grip. But we'll take a look and see if there's any way possible of getting this wired up. I got to do some research with this one and compare it to the Ray Allen system for my trim. And then we'll get that all straightened out, and hopefully we'll be able to use this later. But for right now, goal is let's just get things done. get it flying. I was going to wire it in parallel anyway, so that way I could use it in either location, but we'll figure that out. Anywho, there you have it, guys. That's where we are today. I'll go ahead and sign off, and maybe we'll catch you guys in the morning. All right, guys, so welcome to the next day. This is actually in the following week. Took a little bit of a break, had some stuff to do, plus it was raining quite a bit, so I went ahead and just took a break from working on it, but figured something out, and I did order something. Okay, so like I said, I did order something. We went ahead and we're doing a quick test here on the servo for my elevator trim. So as you can see, we have some power here, and what they sell, which I found, was a relay box. So I need a relay box to be able to use my hat switch on my grip. So we're going to go ahead and get this wired up today, at least in the control area here, and then route it down into the front of the airplane, because this is all working really, really well. So the relay box here basically converts whatever the two position throw switchy thing here. It takes that information from this switch and it goes to this relay and then goes to here. So this switch right here that they give you with the kit already has that built in. So that now takes the place of it. Now I can have that on my hand grip, which is awesome. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to work on that, get this kind of wired up in the grip, and get that installed in the airplane with the push to talk all set up for that. The other thing we're going to be testing is I did notice that I had some whine noise from the alternator when the engine is running. So bought this really inexpensive filter, and I want to test it, and I want to see if I can get that same noise. So, but I did want to put some aircraft grade leads on here to test it. So I do have some 10 gauge wire that I'm going to put on there, and that is to stop the alternator whine, because that's what I'm getting right now, is alternator whine when the engine is running. So we're going to test it, see if this works. If it does, then I'm going to go ahead and order an aircraft grade one from Aircraft Spruce, make sure that works, and then we're going to go from there. I didn't want to buy a $100 part just to test. So this will give me a good test, see if that takes down the noise on the alternator. If it does, great. I'll order an aircraft grade one and we'll get that in line. I'm not sure if anyone else has had that issue from the alternator, that whine from it, but we're going to test it. We're going to see if that works and go from there. But in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and start wiring this sucker up into the grip, into the aircraft. That's the plan. Stay tuned, guys. Okay, guys, so quick update on the trim switch. So we have the trim over here, and this is just all temporary wired up, and I'm using a 12-volt battery here. And here's my switch now, and watch as we move it. And as you can see, it is showing up on here. So that's going to work out great, guys. I finally got that figured out. So now we can utilize this grip that I wanted to use, and now I just got to transfer my push to talk over here. We can install this on the control stick and feed the wires down through, and then we'll finish up wiring everything up once we get that mounted in place and connected. So there you go, guys. So if you want to use a hat switch, you do need to get this relay right there, which is the REL2, and that will be used with the ROS4. Okay, now it does have the provisions for a left and right trim. However, the aircraft doesn't have a left or right trim, so the up and down is all we got. But that seems to be working perfect. So we'll go ahead and center the trim there. There you go. So that all works, guys. Awesome. So we'll go ahead and disconnect everything. We'll get everything put in place and get this mounted in the airplane. Okay, guys, so welcome back. And just wanted to go ahead and go through what we got done today. And I apologize for the lighting. But this is now done the best that we can make it. Looks pretty good. So next week we'll be taking this off, deburring. I do have to trim back on this a little bit, so that will get taken care of as well. And then once this is trimmed and deburred, we will be riveting this panel in place. Next thing would be from this side. This corner sucks, by the way. I really hate it. I'm sure everybody else has. So we're going to hide it and just fiberglass it. So I tried doing some bending metal, trying to get this to come out, try to meet up a little better. But we're just going to go ahead and put a rivet in there with a small piece of L angle, most likely drill, rivet, and hold it in place. We'll finish riveting and drilling this whole section up here. Everything else looks really good. We'll need to do some trimming right along here, so that'll be fine. And then what the plan is for this corner is fiberglass. I'm going to make a fiberglass fairing that's going to come down and around right down to about here. And it's going to come up and around and probably to about right here. And then we'll affix that with some sheet metal screws. That'll look fine. Yeah, I hate that corner. I'm sure everybody else does too. That part sucks. Really, there's got to be a better way for Zenith to be able to make that piece right here. And I'm not sure what that is, but man, that is a terrible corner. And I still got to do that one. So we'll work on that next week. We'll finish up this whole side where it butts up to the fuselage. Everything else is done in the wings. Wiring, everything is all fished all the way to the this center bay here. I have tested both fuel tanks. Both of them work. None of them leak. They all feed the engine. Everything seemed fine. So no issues there. So I'm happy with how the fuel system is all set up. So that's always good. So that part is done. Also went ahead and we did get the trim pot in here. So we can do up and down elevator trim. So that works. I do have to work on, once this is all finished, I'm going to use a little bit of maybe some hot glue or something like that inside here just to hold this down a little bit better. But yeah, so we have up trim and down trim. Push to talk works on both sides. So that's always good. So that's all finished. Super happy with how that came out. All my wires are now fished down here. We do need to find a way to keep them right up on top here. What I'm thinking about doing is I have some slack in here still. Maybe come back this way and then back up that way. So that way it should not be in any way, shape, or form anywhere able to get cut. My elevator trim indicator is going to be on this panel somewhere. Haven't figured out exactly yet, but we'll get that taken care of and get that mounted. Flaps right there, still have to wire that up. The heater, still need to wire that up. And then I think it's just a few more items here power-wise. Once we get the wiring fished down along the frame into the back panel. Once that is done, we are then cooking with gas. We're going to be ready to start finalizing and buttoning up this under panel here so that we can get the windscreen on. So we're getting there, guys, one step at a time. A few more little things that to get done on the wings before we start pulling those off and getting them prepped for paint. I'm looking forward to getting these painted, because once these are painted, that's really gonna start making the plane look like it's more finished, and really gonna be happy about that, because that's going to give me a little bit more motivation. Right now, I just feel like I'm stuck. I'm working on the plane on the weekends, and not much really changes. And I get it. This is that stage of the build where not a lot happens. So it is what it is. We'll get everything kind of situated. We'll finish up. I did also, not permanently mounted, but I started to mount my servo for the elevator trim, because we still have to get that all fed through. All right, guys, so sorry I missed the video last week. Got really busy and didn't get a chance to work on the plane much, so appreciate you guys hanging out and checking out my video. Make sure you visit the Teespring store down below if you're interested in helping support the channel. And also, just to let you guys know, I will be at the Zenith Homecoming coming up here in September. Date information up here or down there, one or the other. I'll bring those stickers out for you guys and hand them out. But yeah, check out the Teespring store, and I will see you guys on the next video. We're gonna finish up the pilot wing next week. I have a Saturday. That's the only day I have, so we're gonna get a lot of work done because then I go away on a work trip again. So without further ado, guys, keep building, keep flying. I'll see you guys next time. Bye now.